The alarms echoed through the steel corridors of the Varric Ascendancy's flagship, a chilling sound that sent even battle-hardened soldiers tightening their grips on their plasma rifles. Rumors had spread like wildfire. A Deathworlder was loose somewhere on board. No one needed clarification. There was only one species in the galaxy that earned that cursed title: human. Captain Draxus, a towering reptilian officer with jagged scales and ceremonial armor, barked orders to his squad. Sweep every deck. Lock down the engineering bay. Nothing enters or leaves this ship until the creature is found. His soldiers saluted with trembling hands. The fear was palpable, though none dared admit it. A single human could turn an entire cruiser into a floating graveyard, if the legends were to be believed. Draxus himself led the search, striding with calculated authority. His slit-pupil eyes scanned corners, shadows, ducks. His soldiers took comfort in his presence, unaware of the irony. For beneath his composed exterior, beneath the mask of command, Draxus was not Draxus at all. He was the very Deathworlder they hunted. The disguise wasn't perfect, but it didn't have to be. Humans were adaptable in ways the galaxy had never fully understood. Genetic mimicry, stolen armor, altered posture. He had slipped into the captain's role after a brutal skirmish days earlier, leaving the real Draxus in a cooling storage locker. The irony almost made him laugh. They feared the beast, hiding in the shadows, when it was their leader giving them orders. As the squad moved deeper into the vessel, one of the younger recruits whispered, "Captain, how do we even know it's still alive? Perhaps the vacuum purge killed it." "Don't assume," Draxus growled in his best reptilian rasp. "Humans survive what should kill them. I want the body, or I want its head mounted on the bridge wall." The soldiers shivered and obeyed. Each deck they searched turned up nothing but terrified crew. Doors were torn from hinges. Lockers were smashed. A few unlucky engineers were discovered unconscious, breathing shallowly. No one saw the Deathworlder, yet his presence hung heavy. And all the while, the captain led them closer to their doom. The human inside the disguise was named Mason. He had been captured during a raid, his squad slaughtered when the Ascendancy ambushed their freighter. Alone, he had been dragged aboard this massive warship, bound for interrogation. But humans weren't famous for surrender. The first chance he got, he broke free. One guard's neck snapped, another's weapon stolen, and soon the decks ran with fear. By the time the Ascendancy realized what had happened, Mason was already in their captain's skin, both literally and figuratively. Now, instead of running, he used their paranoia against them. Hours later, the squad entered the cargo bay. The wide space echoed with the hum of machinery, stacked crates forming a maze of shadows. Perfect hunting grounds. "Fan out," Draxus Stern Mason ordered. They obeyed. The silence stretched, broken only by the shuffle of boots. Then came the scream, sharp, gurgling, cut short. The soldiers whirled, weapons raised, but the bay showed nothing but shifting shadows. Another scream, then another. The squad closed ranks, panic blooming. "Captain, it's here," one of them shouted. Mason let the mask slip just slightly. His lips curled into a grin, teeth flashing white in the gloom. "You're right," he said, his voice no longer bothering with reptilian mimicry. Recognition dawned too late. The soldiers froze, eyes widening in horror as the realization hit them. Their captain had been the Deathworlder all along. By then, Mason was already moving. What followed was chaos. Plasma fire lit the bay like lightning, but Mason was faster, darting between cover, closing distances with terrifying speed. Every punch, every strike was delivered with bone-cracking precision. Rifles fell, throats crushed, and screams echoed into silence. One soldier managed to fumble out a distress beacon before Mason tore it from his claws and drove it into his skull. The device blinked uselessly in the pooling blood. When the carnage ended, Mason stood alone amid the wreckage of the squad. Breathing hard, streaked with alien gore, he stripped the false armor from his shoulders. For the first time in hours, he stood as himself, a human, unmasked. The ship still crawled with enemy crew, but Mason no longer cared. Fear would spread faster than any fire now. The ascendancy thought they were hunting a monster. Instead, the monster had been leading their hunt, step by step, into their graves. And Mason wasn't finished yet. He tapped into the captain's wrist console, overriding command codes with ease. The ship's loudspeakers crackled to life across every deck. "This is Mason. Human. Deathworlder. You've been looking for me." His grin widened as terrified voices carried through the halls. "And now I'm coming for you." The warship trembled with panic. Soldiers abandoned posts. Officers shouted contradictory orders. And the legend of the Deathworlder grew tenfold in that single moment. Because humans weren't prey. They were the ones who hunted,